Hello, this is the TradeSite Forex Market Preview and International Economic Data Roadmap for the week beginning Sunday, the 8th of September, 2019, ending Friday the 13th. Yep, Friday the 13th. That's what we're coming up against. Here's a look at the dollar index daily chart. We did break out to new highs about a week ago and then came right back in. And, it's been a 4-point range for a year. And that's really, really sad. I mean, if you go back and look at prior years and stuff like that, there's a 10-point range. I mean, a 4-point range for a year on the dollar index is really nothing, and it prevents us from getting much done from a trading perspective. Let's go through the major daily charts, then we'll look at the intraday action. So the euro dollar, pretty much the inverse of the dollar index at this point, doesn't really matter. The pound came back up this week. It swept the lows on Monday, but it came back up this week very quickly. Remember, it bounced right off that static trend line. Aussie dollar also bounced, euro yen. So we're trying to make new lows or new highs in most of these and failed almost immediately. The pound yen, no difference. The New Zealand dollar pair is what it is. All right, so let's take a look at the intraday action. 30-minute candles. High to low for the week on the euro dollar is only about 150 pips. Not great. So again, we had some issues range-wise. But, the pound dollar, the range is it's better. It's 400 pips. This is why we made good money in the pound this week. I mean, it wasn't a problem at all. We had a couple carryover trades that did well. And so, it's a good week for us in terms of the Forex market, just because mostly of the pound, we just couldn't find the setups in the euro dollar that we like to try to find. There's nothing else to really discuss here. There's no setups chart-wise and everything else. Let's look at the news coming out for the week ahead. So Sunday, remember, these are Pacific time, so I'll add 3 hours as I do these. 6:45 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday, manufacturing sales, bank lending, current account, final GDP out of Japan, home loans out of Australia, economy watcher sentiment out of Japan, Swiss unemployment rate, German trade balance. Those are all Sunday. You can see the times there. Add 3 hours to them for Eastern time. Got the GDP out of the UK at 4:30 a.m. Eastern time on Monday, along with manufacturing production, goods trade balance, index of services, industrial production, and construction output. New loans out of China, M2 money supply out of China, consumer credit out of the US, M2 money stock out of Japan, NAB business confidence out of Australia, China's CPI and PPI at 9:30 p.m. Eastern time Monday night. French final private payrolls, preliminary machine tool orders, French industrial production, Italian industrial production. We got UK's average earnings index, claim and account the unemployment rate out of the UK at 4:30 a.m. Eastern time going into Tuesday. NFIB small business index at 6 a.m. Eastern time on Tuesday here in the US. Housing starts and building permits out of Canada after that. JOLTS job openings after that. Visitor arrivals in the evening out of New Zealand. Westpac consumer sentiment out of Australia. Going into Wednesday, we've got capacity utilization rate out of Canada at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, PPI out of the U.S. at that time. Final wholesale inventories out of the U.S., crude oil inventories out of the U.S., 10-year bond auction out of the U.S., New Zealand's FPI. We've got the RICS house price balance out of the UK, core machinery orders, and PPI out of Japan at 7:50 p.m. Eastern time Wednesday night. MI inflation expectations. Tertiary industry activity out of Japan, German final CPI, PPI out of Switzerland, French final CPI. Going to Thursday, Italian quarterly unemployment rate, industrial production out of Europe, main refinancing rate. That's basically the Fed equivalent, the ECB meeting out of Europe at 4:45 a.m. 7:45 a.m. Eastern time on Thursday. So they've got a rate announcement there, and then their press conference. CPI out of the U.S. That's one of our big three, so we'll be half size ahead of that going into Thursday. CB leading index, natty gas, 30-year bond auction, Fed budget balance. That's 2 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday. New Zealand's business manufacturing index, bank holiday out of China going into Friday, revised industrial production out of Japan, German WPI, you got the trade balance out of Europe, ECOFIN meetings start, retail sales here in the U.S. along with the import-export prices, and the preliminary University of Michigan sentiment along with business inventories on Friday at 10 p.m. Eastern time, 10 a.m. Eastern time. So there's some stuff there. It's not massive. We're coming out of summer, so things usually start to pick up right now for Forex, but it's actually not just been a slow August. It's been a slow year. So it was a good week last week. We'll see what we get. Charts as usual brought to you by eSignal. If you've not yet taken the trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great trading week.